it. So today we're going to have an adventure. We are making tea cake. We're making these little bunts. There are 2 of these little bunts and 1 of just a regular cake pan size. And again, thanks for coming back. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that little like button. It helps with my algorithm, and it also lets me know that you enjoyed the video. So without much ado, let's get started. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I want to let you know that I have already sifted the flour, and I already put the salt, baking soda, and baking powder into it. All the measurements will be in the description box down below. I haven't blended the sugar yet with the butter and the sour cream, and there's all sorts of other ingredients that we're going to go through in just a moment. But I want to bring something to everybody's attention. This is what happens to the tea bags. They're going to burst. It doesn't matter what you do, how gently you do it. For whatever reason, as soon as the milk starts to get really hot, not boiling, remember you never boil it, but this is what happens, and it breaks open. So I'm going to bring everything over so we can put all the ingredients for the sugar. We're going to do that together. I'm going to put this aside because it's already done. Remember, what goes into this is the baking powder, baking soda, and sea salt. I use a very fine sea salt for baking. I get it at Walmart. It's no big deal. So let's put this aside for the meantime. We're going to come over here and we're going to put the zest in. And we're going to put the butter and the vanilla and some eggs. Two eggs, room temp, and a half a cup of sour cream. We're going to go over that in just a minute. But let's get this out because I only have so much room to work. So when you zest it, you've just made it vulnerable. And it can sour very, very quickly. No pun intended, lemons are sour, but if you tried, it would be horrible. So I always say juice it, put it in a little container, wash it. And I mean wash it like you would wash your dishes, because everybody and his uncle has touched it at the grocery store. Every person in handling to put it into the box that is going to be shipped to the grocery store has touched it. So I'm just going to go along here, and like I said, you're going to see it just come out. No big deal. I'm going to use the whole lemon because it just makes it taste so much more potent, because there's going to be the tea and the tea will take over. You don't want to go past this. I know some people do, but I'm telling you, you really don't, because it's very, very bitter. So we're just going to get in here and get this done real quick. So there we go. There we go. See how beautiful that is? We're just going to put this aside for the meantime. So I've creamed the butter. As you can see, I've creamed the butter. It has you cream the butter before the sugar goes in. So we're going to put this in, and I'm going to beat it. And then we've got 2 eggs that we're going to be doing one at a time. And I'm going to remove the tea bags. The milk has steeped, and then we're going to put that in after the eggs and the vanilla. Once I put this milk in, then we're going to be doing the half a cup of sour cream. Always make sure that the sour cream and the eggs and the butter are all at room temp. It just keeps everything consistent. blender. And this is what it's all about. This is what my channel is all about, is not being perfect. To make your blenders, move on. It'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. I used too small of a bowl. Because we're going to be adding the flour, and there was just not going to be enough. It's 3 cups of flour. So I went and got my much bigger bowl, and we're going to take it from there. All right, so we have taken the tea bags out, and we had a little bit of a blender, but we're going to start from scratch. I have decided to get very serious about there we are. Oh, we want to make sure we don't spill too much. There we are. And we'll just let it steep out. Pretty much done. I think I've gotten quite a bit because I did put a little extra. It calls for 1 cup of the milk to go in, but I used a little bit over. So let me get rid of this. Let's get rid of the evidence. This is not, Martha, I'm sorry. So we're going to whisk the tea milk with the sour cream. So we're going to put this aside. And that's what I have this bowl for. And I couldn't figure out what the heck I had this bowl out for. We're going to put this into this bowl. Now let's get rid of this bowl. And here we have the sour cream. This is the sour cream here. So we're going to just put that in. Get that together. Gotten this beaten up, and it says until there's no lumps. With the sour cream being room temp going into the warm milk, it's going to break down very, very quickly. It's telling me here in my crazy instructions that I'm going to be adding the flour to the sugar mixture and mixing it up, and then we're going to be adding the milk. So I will take care of that. I don't want to blister your ears with my crazy mixer. And I will be right back, and we will get this done together, I promise. Show you what I'm doing here. Now I've got just a little bit of the flour left. I just wanted to show you because I added a little bit at a time, but I've also been adding because I didn't like how hard it was pulling on my old mixer. And so I just started adding a little bit of the milk and tea, just so it doesn't pull so hard on my, like I said, my very old mixer that has been tried and true. With this, the recipe calls for a 5 cup. This is a 2.5 cup. And you can use whatever you want. If you want to make it into a sheet cake or a regular old cake, if you want to make them into cupcakes, there are no rules. You can do what you want. Be inventive. Use cream cheese frosting if you want to make it into a cake. Now that would be very delicious, and you can put like raspberries in it. But we're just gonna keep this plain and simple. So what I'm doing now is I've melted the butter, and I'm just going to be going through here and making sure that it's all coated properly. And I'm just brushing it kind of back into the bowl, and make sure that you got the stem, because you don't want to miss the stem. How many times I have missed the stem and had it all stick to the stem, and it comes out great on the sides with the mold, but not here in the thing. So you always want to make sure that you've got that as well. We're going to make sure that we get down on all the sides. Even if it pools, it doesn't really matter, because we're just getting it kind of like greasing a regular old cake. pan, you're going to, use the room temperature butter and smear it around, and then you put the flour. But we're not using flour. Now remember, I'm diabetic, and when I'm baking for myself, I use the monk fruit or I use the Splenda. But because these are going to actually be gifts, there's a story. There's a story. So here we go with the sugar, and we're just going to do just like you would flour your pans. Just like you would flour your pans. You're just gonna tap it out. Just gonna tap it out. Make sure that you've got all the little nooks and crannies. I put down, this is wax paper, because I always do this when I'm flouring, because you get it all over everything, and you try to be neat and tidy and put it into the bowl, and it just doesn't fly. So again, we want to make sure that the stem is completely covered in sugar. Here we are. We're all pretty much coated. I see some blank patches, so I'm just going to go through very, very lightly, just very, very lightly, and we're just going to pat it down a little bit more. It's just no rules. There are no our pan for baking. It's all been prepped. As you can see, the sugar is all in it. And that looks really good. So now we're going to just put the batter in, and we want to make sure that it goes in evenly. Okay, and we have to be gentle because we really, really don't want to disturb the sugar. It's going to melt into it, and it's not something that I can really eat, not really eat. So we're just going to do this real quick, and I will come back to you once I've got this finished. I've got it filled. Now I've decided to do it about this much from the surface. As you can see that it isn't covered at the dead center. You don't want the dead center, the stem of the bundt to get covered, because then the cake's going to get weird. So I smoothed it out so it was fairly consistent, and what I'm going to do is just kind of pound it. Just drop it a couple of times. It helps level it out. It will also bring the bubbles, and you can see just little teeny tiny indentations. You do this when you're baking any kind of cake. My channel, I want to tell you, my channel is about not being perfect. It's about making mistakes. It's about learning from the mistakes and celebrating our little triumphs or our big triumphs. I just want you to know that you don't have to be like the fancy people on the internet, social media, the television. My kitchen always looks, I won't say like a bomb went off, but it certainly doesn't look like the cooking shows that I watch. I have a very tiny kitchen. This is my room. This is my room. I'm moving to a new apartment very soon, and the kitchen's going to be even smaller. I have a huge giant living room, so it makes up for it. But the counter space is very limited, and I just want you to know that you can do it, that you don't need a chef's kitchen. I just want you to know that you can do it. You can do it. It's just another recipe. It's just something for you to try. Maybe I'll get crazy in the new apartment and make pot roast. Woo! So you never know about these things. But it's always good to chat with you, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Let's get this in the oven, and let's see how it turns out. See you in a few minutes. Well, the first little bundt has come out of the oven, and it looks too poofy for words. So I think we're going to fill up the other one halfway, which is going to probably give me 3 bundt cakes. But hey, who's counting? But as you can see, it is very high. But it's got a great spring. I'm going to test it in just a moment, and let's see how it came out. I cooked it for 45 minutes. All right, so look at this beauty. Didn't she turn out beautiful? Look at this, it's so crisp. But I cut the bottom off because it was too, like I said, too poofy. So I just, yeah, there it goes. So we're going to make 2 more of these, and then we're going to do the lemon glaze. But as you can see, I'm going to lift it up, and as you can see, I just cut the bottom off. And it turned out great. It fell out of the pan perfect. Didn't have any problems at all. So I'm going to make 2 more of these guys, and I'll check back with you when it's time to do the glazing. Alrighty? So here we are. This is our first bundt cake that we did, and it turned out great. And this is the second bundt cake, but I want you to see that it got a little poofy too. So I think it's just the batter. So if I want to, I can cut this bottom off. But then I decided to try it out in the cake pan, and it turned out really, really beautiful. Again, it got poofy. So I'm going to assume the batter is just a poofy batter. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to start the lemon icing. We've got 2 cups of the powdered sugar. You can use as much as you want or as little as you want. I've got a 1/2 cup of lemon juice, fresh squeezed. I'm just don't know if I'll use all of it. I don't know, but I have plenty for mixing into this because I want it to be a little bit more thicker than what I used for the ricotta cookies for when we were dipping them in. So I am going to switch consistent on our glazing. So let's just keep going here. It tasted fantastic, unbelievable. Couldn't stop nibbling on it. So I'm sure my sugars are going to be very angry with me in the morning, but I'll have some good chicken soup with vegetables tonight. I'll be a good girl and eat good. So we want to get this consistent. Now see, you can see how it's getting gooey, and pretty soon it'll start breaking itself down and getting nice and glazy. All right, so here we are. We have got a wonderful, wonderful consistency. So, like I said, my channel is about trying, not being perfect. Being perfect is too much expectation. So here we go. Now I just put this on a paper plate because I'm going to take this one to the dealership to say thank you for all the help and hard work that they did. And this one we want to kind of glob on. I like it being globbed onto the cakes, and we want to make sure that it's got plenty of runoff because that's the best part. That is the best part. That. As you can see, let me get it here so I don't get the glaze. It all goes down into the center, and then it gets nice and hard. I've got a nice gooey runoff here. It's probably still a little warm, but you know what? The guys there, they're not going to care. All they're going to see is somebody did something nice for them. Yeah, cream cheese frosting, because the way it tastes, if you added like the cinnamon, nutmeg, mixture, I swear to you, it would be a spice cake with the cream cheese frosting. But it's so light. It's unbelievable. And the tea gives it this warm feeling to it that it doesn't have any kind of harsh sweet. This would make a great afternoon tea cake. So, you know, be creative. Do what you want. Life is short. So I want to show you the sponge and how absolutely wonderful. It is so moist. It is so moist. It's unbelievable. And like I said, if you added spice to it, it would just be amazing. It just really would be. And with the cream cheese frosting, it would make a wonderful brunch type cake. If you wanted to just keep it on its own, it would make a great afternoon cake for tea and coffee. So but this is all about trying. This is all about being successful in our own kitchen, because the dessert people are not going to run up on you and be mad that this was good, but this was not good. So it just is. It's going to harden up. I might remake the glaze because I'm not bringing it to them until Tuesday, and I got to cover them. So it might take some of the glazing off. So I might just redo the glaze. It doesn't take that much time. A little powdered sugar, a little lemon juice. Like I said, I'm going to put this in the fridge, and I can use it at a later date. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you for participating, and I hope that your week is positive. And I want to